Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Before I Do the show where we're still getting it together.
Yes, we are.
The show that is intended to provide courageous conversation on dating and relationships. We are here. Our privilege, our honor is to help you, those of you who are dating, who want to be married, don't know if you want to be married, out here living your best single life. Our responsibility, our honor is to help you facilitate courageous conversation on dating and relationships.
I just had to laugh. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And so this show is meant to be interactive. Yes. And so what we want you to do is when we pose the speak now or forever hold your peace question, we actually want you to engage. Do not hold your peace, right? We're your Couples Academy practitioners, and tonight's episode is, should relationships have secrets? I mean the S word, the other S word, secrets, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that in relationships, secrets is a really detrimental and a very high topic when it comes to relationships and in dating. And so we wanted to go ahead and comprehensively cover, are there good secrets? Are there bad secrets? Are there any exceptions? So how do we navigate secrets within relationships? Because they do happen. And the more we get to know one another, is there a way for us to potentially utilize secrets to build intimacy? And what does withholding secrets say about our relationship? So we're going to dive into the nitty gritty. Tonight's topic is so deep that we don't even have a speak now Q&A. We actually have a list of scenarios that we're going to ask you to categorize whether you deem them as good secrets, bad secrets, or exceptions to the rule. So we definitely need your interaction and are interested in hearing your feedback. So get ready for that. So Charmaine, when we talk about secrets, you and we were having this conversation about relationships, and even in our marriage, there were certain things that we realized that we had never disclosed to one another. Not that we were intentionally harboring secrets, but the topic had never really come up, or we had, in some scenarios, thought that we had shared that information with one another.
All right. And so we want you to know these topics aren't just things that, they just, flipping a coin and coming up with a topic.
Not at all.
No, these are things that we've actually, gone through in our marriage and our relationship, and really just, things that really we have deep in our heart. And secrets are a big one. We often have clients that will say, nope, I want full transparency, no secrets at all. So tonight we're really going to be talking about we're going to get in all of them. Good secrets, bad secrets, and exceptions.
Absolutely.
So the first one, we want to talk about what's a good secret, right? Yep. So a good secret is information that is withheld that is beneficial to the relationship. All right. And so I know some people, you're like, no, I can't agree with you right now. Like, what are you doing, Walter and Charmaine? We don't know. Like, there's no good secrets. Well, is that true? All right. And so, Walter, what are your thoughts about that? What a good secret is considered information that is withheld that is beneficial to the relationship. And so I'm sure you're out there. You were like, no, there are no good secrets. Well, absolutely, there are good secrets.
Absolutely. So I would deem that as a surprise. If your partner is interested in proposing to you, and you are a person that you like surprises, you don't want to know when your partner is going to propose to you, and you want it to be this grandiose gesture, then it is a good secret that he or she, they are keeping that information from you. So when we think about surprises, whether it is a proposal, whether it is a surprise party, maybe it's a purchase that your partner is interested in doing something nice for you at your something that you're not necessarily aware of, then that would be essentially deemed as a good secret. How about you?
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, when I was proposed to, it was absolutely a surprise, right? And then some people will say, well, it's a surprise, not a secret. But no, there were a lot of secrets that were going on. There was planning, there was preparation. It was on my birthday. It was on Thanksgiving Day. It was a great surprise that only could have occurred with a bunch of secrets.
Absolutely. So now as we transition from there, then we talk about what would be deemed as a bad secret. And bad secrets are information that is withheld that is a detriment to the relationship. So these are things that directly impact the quality of your relationship. This is an individual that may be dealing with bad habits. They may be engaging in behaviors that are not productive for the relationship, or they may even have an addiction or something that they are hiding. And the reason why they're doing it may be a myriad of different reasons. It may not necessarily always be malicious in that they're trying to keep it hidden because they're trying to be manipulative. They may be ashamed and may not even know if they're able to trust you with it. But that doesn't negate the fact that this is a bad secret because of the impact that it can potentially have on the relationship.
Right. How many people have addictions, myself included, right? I mean, you might be the person out there, you cannot just eat just one Lay's potato chip. I mean, you have to eat the whole bag, even though you know it's not good for you, even though your doctor says you got to cut out carbs or salt or whatever. But there is just something about that cup of ice, that ice cream, those potato chips, the pizza, the bread, something that, you know what, it calls your name and you just cannot ignore it. So some of us, you know, when it comes to addiction, who easily just admits that, or even can acknowledge that, you know, I do actually have an addiction, right? So sometimes people aren't really aware. They don't know that they don't know. And so sometimes bad secrets, they may not always be intended, but it goes back to that intention versus the impact.
Absolutely.
And then,
go ahead. No, you got it.
And then the last one, we have exceptions. Secrets that are exceptions. That is information on or about an outside party. For example, actions from the past or information withheld based on the perception of your partner's current behavior or ability to handle it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So when we talk about exceptions, we're talking about these things where Charmaine, her best friend, may be dealing with something, and she's confided in Charmaine and has been explicit. Please don't share this with your husband. I mean, it's something that I'm already kind of embarrassed about. I'm dealing with it, and I just don't want anyone to know. Well, then what do I look like becoming angry at Charmaine because she is now holding a secret for someone else? Just like there are secrets within our relationship. There are going to be things that I share with her that I will ask her to not disclose outside of our relationship. We have to be careful that our relationship doesn't become the end all be all of our existence, meaning that Charmaine is also an individual. She has her own friends, she has her own life, and those individuals are the way that she navigates and interacts with them is going to require a level of commitment and discretion and privacy, which we are going to get into that a little later when we talk about the difference between privacy and secrecy. But again, when we talk about some of our friends and individuals outside of the relationship, how we handle the information that we have about them as well.
All right, so we have summarized good secrets, bad secrets, and exceptions. So are we ready to get into some of our case studies?
I think that we are, but I just want to point out too that part of the reason as we look at these good, bad, and exceptions, right? As we go into these scenarios, we always like to provide some equal footing, right? And that's important because, again, based on your relationship, some of these scenarios and situations, you get to categorize what you would deem as good, bad, and what is an exception. But the idea is at least to begin to have the conversation about it and not just assume that, how do you not know that this is a bad secret? How do you not know that this is a good secret? And so it's important to make sure that you're having these conversations about this information.
Beautiful. And all Couples Academy practitioners, I mean, Danielle, she's big on making sure all of our clients have had the Enneagram assessment. So you know your personality type, but culture always plays a big role as well. So that you and your partner may not always agree that this is a good secret or a bad secret or an exception, but the goal is allow us as practitioners to help support those courageous conversations.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do before we get into these scenarios, we're going to take a really quick commercial break, and we're going to come back with a few scenarios, right? And we want your help. We want you to help us identify how you would categorize them. Would you categorize it as a good secret, a bad secret, or an exception? All right. So we're going to take a really quick commercial break, and we'll be right back with more before I do.
Stay tuned. welcome back to Before I Do on the show that is here to support you in your dating process. If you're considering getting married, engaged to be married, not sure if you want to be married, this is where you were supposed to be. And we're your Couples Academy practitioners, Charmaine and Walter. And tonight's show, we're talking about should relationships have secrets? And if you missed it, we've talked about good secrets, we've defined bad secrets and exceptions. And so now we're going to get into some scenarios, and we want you to weigh in. Do not hold your peace. We want you to speak now and decide if you believe this is a good secret, a bad secret, or an exception.
Absolutely. The bottom line is that secrets are a part of relationships, and they are an integral part of dating. So these are real, actual scenarios. And so we want your help to identify how you would categorize them and why. So don't just put good, put your why as well. All right. So scenario number 1, a surprise party or a purchase for your partner. Is that a good secret? Is it a bad secret? Or is it an exception? So Charmaine, what say you?
A surprise party or a purchase. Okay, so this one, I do believe it can be a good secret. But I believe it can be a bad secret too.
And explain that. How can it be a bad secret?
Well, come on. First, we want you to weigh in. Come on now. Is it a good secret? Is it a bad secret? Or is it an exception? What do you think?
Well, and interestingly enough, you're not a big fan of surprises.
No.
Right? Yeah, you're not a big fan of surprises.
No.
You have a track record of surprises not necessarily going well with you. So.
Yeah. See, every time I try to surprise somebody, it does not work out well. So I'm a planner and stuff like that, but it's something about surprises. When I'm planning it doesn't usually go well.
But even when people are trying to surprise you as well, even going back to your childhood, you haven't always received it well, in your own words, right?
This is true. I struggle with being in the spotlight. I struggle with that spotlight kind of hitting me. So a surprise party, yeah. In childhood, I mean, my first birthday party, my parents were so sweet. They loved me. And my mom and dad, they threw me this surprise party. It was at church, with a girls group. And when I tell you, I walked in that room, I had never had a birthday party before. I think I was like 7. I had never had a birthday party before. And for people who know me, I was adopted. And so at the age of 7, they planned this surprise party. I was around other girls my age at church. And I literally ran out of the room and went in the bathroom and cried. One, it was an emotional response because I had never been honored that way and given a birthday party. 2, I didn't know how to handle the spotlight and all of the attention being on me. So that was uncomfortable. And so there was a lot happening. Whole emotional roller coaster.
Which I think is an important point, right? Because as we talked about, it's important to have a conversation with your partner because that type of background information may be used to really inform them as it relates to some of the secrets, some of the things that they choose to withhold, and some of the things that they may choose to share and how they interact with their partner. But interestingly enough, you said that this can also be, on the surface, it's a good secret, but it can also be a bad one. Can you elaborate a little more on that?
Well, okay. So my love language is not gifts. All right. That's a work in progress for me. All right. But, if you are a lavish gift giver, right? And so you love purchasing these expensive, lavish gifts, right? And you're married to a person who's a little bit more conservative financially, right? And let's say you took out, $5,000 out of the savings account and you purchased this extravagant vacation. But that $5,000, y'all agreed that was supposed to go to repair the roof or to replace the water heater or something. I don't know, right? So this person is excited, right? Oh my gosh, they did this great thing, right? But then when you realize, no, they took the money out of the savings account and now we don't have hot water and we don't have the money now we have to borrow the money for the water heater, but we went on this lavish vacation and I didn't know that you took the money out of the savings account. And so now I resent the gift.
Yeah. And now what has happened is that good secret has now devolved into a bad secret again, because of the impact on the relationship. So whereas it was meant to be beneficial because of the financial obligation, it has now become a detriment to the relationship. So, that's a really good one to be mindful of. All right. Scenario number 2, how you feel about your partner's family.
That deserves 3 bells.
Now,
3.
So here's the thing, right? Now, with a lot of these scenarios, this is gonna depend upon where you are in your relationship. you're going to be very careful about that.
Don't say it.
I'm just saying.
Not you. I'm saying when they think about their partner's family, whatever you're telling yourself to say, don't say it.
Well, not don't say it. Maybe don't say it in that way.
Or out loud.
Right. But here's the thing. This is a bad secret. And here's why. Let's say that you and your partner are on the road to marriage. And and you have not been honest about the way that you've experienced your partner's mother or father or a family member. Now, as you go into the nuptials, as you potentially have a family, as people start asking for money, now there's this now there's this misperception when you're like, no, I'm not in favor of giving this person money, or no, I'm not in favor of this person being in our house. Well, wait a minute, where is this coming from?
Where is this coming from?
And so it is important that, again, you have the conversation with your partner about how you're experiencing their family, but it is even more important how you have that conversation.
Yes.
Make sure you're utilizing tactful language. Make sure that you are not being
rude and wrong.
Yes, I was trying to find the right words. Right, you don't want to be disrespectful, because bearing in mind this is your partner's family, but you do want to be honest about how you experience them.
And disrespect is largely cultural. Again, the word respect in general, it is not a universal term, right? What my family deems respectful and what your family deems respectful are two very different things. And so when I was like, whatever, just, don't say it. Meaning, if you know that you are very loose-lipped, right? You say it as soon as it comes to thought. Like, you might want to really process and give yourself time to say, you know what? I have something really important I want to share, something that's on my heart. Make sure that you go through what we consider to be the 4 T's, timing, your text, your tone, and all of those things should culminate into it being a tactful conversation, right? Because it's a courageous conversation. Anytime you're dealing with how you feel about your loved one's family, whoa, that's a courageous conversation, because it's high stakes, there's a high emotional charge, and you want to make sure that you stay focused on the outcome and it being a positive one.
Yeah, and while the information may not necessarily be favorable in the beginning, as far as with you sharing it, in the long run, it will be beneficial for your relationship. So it's important not to just look on the surface at the short term, but to look at the long-term impact as well. All right, number 3. We talked about this a little earlier. Your best friend is battling a medical condition. Is that a good secret, a bad secret, or an exception?
Man, I think that this is one where you can still honor your best friend, right? You can still honor their medical condition, right? While also, let's say, telling your partner that, for example, I definitely have been in this situation where I've had some friends who've had medical procedures or things like that. And I know they wouldn't have wanted you to know the intricate details of those things. And so what I've chosen to do is say, hey, my best friend is going through, she has some medical concerns right now, and so I am the goal is, what is the outcome, right? The bottom line is I'm going to need to give some time and attention to my friend. So if I'm giving them my time and attention, that means some of that is, that you're not going to get as much of my time in this season, because I need to be there for my friend. I need you as my partner to understand that, to respect it, and to really support that, right?
Absolutely.
So I need to share with you that, hey, my friend is going through some things right now. This is what it's going to require of me. It's going to require my time and my attention. And so, so just know that if I say I have to go abruptly, please support me in that process.
Yeah. What I will say too is, as a partner, you want to support your partner. And part of the way that you support them is not in you dictating what it is that they need, but making sure that you're hearing from them exactly what they need. For example, in Charmaine's situation, it was, hey, I need you to pray with me with so-and-so. Wasn't specific about what they were going through, didn't get into it, nor did I pry. I didn't, well, what's going on? Well, what, no, because I trusted that whatever I needed to know, that she would make sure that I knew, and what I didn't need to know, then that's fine. we come together, we pray, and I'm supporting her, and then following up, hey, how's your friend doing? So part of this, right, again, is to make sure that I'm supporting her in her relationships outside of our relationship, and making sure those are healthy, that those interactions are good.
And I've seen partners really mess this up.
That's when, yeah, exactly.
Like I've seen partners where your husband has told you something in confidence to pray, and instead of you praying for the person, you going
now you a private eye.
You a private eye. You going in the back channels and you asking all kind of. You have to let the person know your husband told you this and that, and you completely have ruined now the confidentiality between your spouse and this individual. And so, I mean, no, sometimes you just really need to really have these conversations with your partner, especially if you are doing work that requires confidentiality and or privacy. If you work in investigations, if you're in the military and let's just some things that you can't disclose, some things are not for public consumption, right? Or if you work as clergy or your spiritual counsel, there are just certain things that you are held accountable to, and there's an expectation, and yeah, your partner needs to be on board with that.
You're tuned into Before I Do. Tonight we are talking about, should relationships have secrets? We are talking about good, bad, and secret exceptions. So we're going to take another quick commercial break. You all stay tuned. We've got 3 more scenarios for you all. We'll be right back with more Before I Do. Everyone, welcome back to Before I Do. Tonight we're talking about, should relationships have secrets? Want to give a shout out to LaQuita. Hey, Quita B, good to see you. And Miss Patrice says, blessings to you beautiful people. I can't stay. I just wanted to send love. Can you give Miss Patrice and Miss LaQuita the bell? Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And so tonight we are talking about, should relationships have secrets? And regardless of how you feel about that, most relationships do have secrets. When we talk about, again, this whole idea and this perception of transparency and full disclosure, those things can oftentimes too take away the intimacy and the opportunity to have surprises within the relationship. So we're talking about various scenarios, and we're asking for your feedback on whether you would classify them as good, bad, or exceptions when it comes to secrets. So this has been a pretty fascinating conversation thus far. All right, so let's get into scenario number 4. Now, this is where, you know, we eased y'all into it with the first 3. Now, these next 3, we're going to really start to pull a little bit.
And remember, we want to hear from you.
Yes.
Is it a good secret, a bad secret, or an exception? What are your thoughts? We want you to weigh in. So let us know why. Number 4, you receive a job offer.
Right. So you have either interviewed or you're up for a promotion. Maybe you even have the opportunity to relocate. You know, but the bottom line is that you have received a job offer. Is that a good secret? Is that a bad secret? Or is that an exception? Now, I will say that I think this is an exception depending on where you are in your relationship. Obviously, if you are in a very serious stage of your relationship, when it comes to maybe you and your partner are engaged, considering marriage, trying to figure out exactly where you're going to live, and you've got an offer to be employed in a city somewhere, and maybe your partner hasn't thought about it. Obviously, this is a major step in your relationship, is having a conversation about career placement that may potentially serve as a transplant, or on the financial side, what it will provide. In the earlier stages on your relationship, you want to be very careful about having a conversation when it comes to the job offer, because of the implications that it may have in your relationship. And you may be trying to remain discreet with your finances because, again, you're just getting to know this person. Or they may have shown themselves as, you know what, this may be a good person just to bounce some ideas off of, and just to have a conversation about this opportunity that I am entertaining. So for me, I would say it's an exception.
So let's say, let's add a little bit more spice to this, because for our listeners, you receive not just a job offer, but you receive a job offer that is going to move you out of state. Okay, so this goes from us dating. We have a thriving relationship. We see each other often, but then you receive a job offer that's going to move you out of the state, and you get the job offer. It's twice as much money, and you receive the offer on your partner's birthday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's on your birthday.
So pause. So just so everybody knows, this is why my wife, she is the queen of hypotheticals. This is what we go through in every single scenario. She is the queen of hypotheticals. So it's double the money, but it's in a whole different state. And this offer was given on your partner's
birthday. Okay. Right. Do you hold it? And hold it. Do you hold the information?
Yes. In all of those scenarios, yes. Here's why. Because if it's your partner's birthday, information like that may overshadow the celebration of their birthday. Okay. And you don't know how they're going to process it. So what I would say is that I would hold that information until after their birthday, because again, when you have someone who is delving in hypotheticals, now it's like, hey, I got this job offer. Oh, so you moving to Texas now? No. I'm just telling you about it. And now it becomes this whole thing where it becomes a distraction from the celebration.
I get that. And so you're trying to be considerate.
Absolutely.
And you don't want it to be a distraction. Yeah. But I guarantee you, there are those individuals out there who will say, nope, they would feel like you withheld that information. And why did it take you a long time? When did you find out about it? Yesterday, why didn't you tell me yesterday? And they still would feel a sense of betrayal because you held that information. And especially if it's the offer of a lifetime that you actually feel like you were going to take.
Yeah.
So interesting. This is one, and this is also goes back into, again, on one hand, you're trying to be considerate. On the other hand, the person is like, no, you withheld, you lied by omission of the truth.
Lie because I ain't tell you about a job offer I got?
Yesterday. My birthday was yesterday. That's when you found out. You should have told me yesterday. So we want you to weigh in. Like, is it important for you to know when that information came in? Would you be the individual who had an issue about the timing? Or
Laquita said this is a hard one. Then she said, I agree with Auntie, as you would. Of course, absolutely. But also too, and this is why these conversations are so important. Because again, although we may be on the opposite side of this situation, our whys are what will bring us back together. Because I'm focusing on being considerate to you. You want to say it was your birthday. So it's like, do you really want to hear that I got a job offer on my birthday that may split us apart? So, even though it's going to be double the money, it's something to definitely bear in mind.
Got it.
All right, scenario number 5. Here we go. We digging into it.
All right. One of your ex-partners contacted you, okay? And this could have been in any fashion. It could have been a text, a phone call, an email. Is this a good secret, a bad secret, or an exception?
Why are you looking at? I'm gonna let you start. I started the.
I answered the last one.
You look at every. I'm gonna just say it. Every man in here feels like they being stared at through the screen.
We want to know.
Yes. Okay. So this is absolutely a bad secret to keep, and I will admit, a lot of men, we have blown it in this area. Because we have had an ex reach out to us, and our rationale is, I don't want to say something and raise awareness where there is no issue.
All right.
Wait a minute. Let me finish. This is the rationale that we have in our mind that, well, I don't want to raise concern where there isn't any. But then your partner sees the message. There's something that comes around where now it's like your partner has found out separate from you sharing it with them, and it just leads to a bigger issue. So the bottom line is, this is absolutely a bad secret. If your ex reaches out to you, if they contact you for any reason, if it really is innocent and there is nothing going on, please disclose that to your partner as soon as possible.
first of all, I just wanted to offer a gift to you all. Okay. So, one thing that we have to understand, right? This is a horrible. We're gonna promote it from a bad secret to a horrible secret. Okay. So men, we love y'all, but y'all gotta understand the warfare of estrogen. Okay. Y'all don't understand women and how we put our power plays out there, right? So whenever another woman reaches out to you, your ex or whatever, you take the bait, even if you don't even acknowledge it. When you don't tell your partner, your current partner, that, hey, I was reached out to by my ex, you leave that sense of doubt, right? Because again, all it says is that it's an open door. That you're considering. It's when my current girl mess up, this is my plan B. Like, these are all of the things in the mind of those of us blessed with an abundance of estrogen women, what we think about that. Okay, so you're trying to lock in your plan B, right? And also it is the warfare of women, right? So let's say your ex, you go out to a party, an event or whatever, and your ex comes up. See, this is what y'all don't understand sometimes. See, this is how women war. This is how we battle, right? Your ex gonna come up to your current girlfriend and she is gonna say, oh yeah, you remember I DM'd you last month? And you looking all crazy and cross-eyed, and then your current girlfriend looking at you like she did what? What? So it's a power play. Yep. So you need to be fully like, nah, I'm not leaving any room for a chick to be able to come up to me and say something to my woman. Whenever another woman can come up to me and tell me something about my man that I don't know, war is on.
So Chrissy says bad. Laquita says bad. And then she says, you better tell because it's going to come out someday. Absolutely. So, and I will share again, this is something that I have absolutely learned from experience myself. And again, my rationale was, well, if there's nothing going on, I don't want to raise issue with, no. The bottom line is, it's also an opportunity again to strengthen the connection between my wife / partner and I, and it also protects me. Yes, it protects me in doing that disclosure. It allows me to be covered in that scenario. So it absolutely is a bad secret, and the way that you combat a bad secret is by disclosure and making sure that it's not a secret. Share that information. Make sure to disclose it.
Absolutely.
All right, and our last one. All right, this is a very serious one, obviously, but mental health and psychological experiences.
Okay, so you want to talk about this one?
No, I'll have you start us off.
Okay, so there's so many different ways that we can come at this, but your mental health is a very important thing, and your psychological experiences, right? And so I think and I'm just going to get personal for this one, I was concerned about getting married because in my family, there's a history of some mental health challenges as well. And I didn't want to be in a serious relationship and possibly something come up or come out if it was genetic, right? And so, but this is definitely something that if you want to be in a relationship, you have to be brave enough to really share your mental health and wellness experiences. That's not something that you can really do alone. It's something that needs to be a partnership. And because this person is the person, especially if you're going to get married, right? Our clients, we let them know that your partner has power of attorney over you. Like all of your medical health and concerns, they literally are to be your partner in that, right? And so if this person is a person that you love, we want to make sure that they're ready. They're ready to partner with you through anything, right? And so this is something that to keep this a secret, this would be really, really bad.
So what I will say, and I'll advocate on the opposite side, right, is that for individuals that deal with mental health and psychological challenges, it can be very minimizing to in the early stages of the relationship to hey, my name is Walter, I'm bipolar. Hey, my name is Charmaine, I'm schizophrenic, and all of the things that come along with that. What we will say, though, is that it is important that as you are getting to know someone and as you see the relationship progressing, it is very important to have that conversation with them because you want them to, again, partner with you in your path. And it is going to be something that is ultimately going to impact your relationship. And so you want to be honest and forthright about what it is that you may be dealing with individually. While it is an individual challenge, it is ultimately going to impact the collective. And another question that you want to ask yourself, right? If you are in a relationship with someone and you've been dating for a while and you're still hesitant to share some things with you, you need to ask yourself why.
Right.
What is it about them that doesn't have you at a good, comfortable place to share that with them? Is that a potential red flag? And so it is something to think about, and obviously we know that sometimes there can be shame that is tied to the stigma, but it is something that you want to utilize as I don't feel comfortable sharing it with this person and we've been dating now for 6 months. Why is that? And so that is an important part, especially when we talk about mental health and wellness, which is, again, projected to be is going to be something that is going to be very pervasive and a big part of relationships, and not just intimate and dating relationships, but even professional relationships as well. This is going to be something that we're going to be dealing with into the future, and it's important for us to learn how to handle it.
Absolutely. And I just wanted to add to this particular topic here about this can be a huge challenge if you keep this a secret, right? But I absolutely agree, in the earlier stages of dating, you don't necessarily have to disclose what the mental health situation or condition is, right? But I will say this, it is sometimes fear is the biggest issue. It's not even always shame, it's fear. Sometimes it's, I can't believe that someone else would accept me with what I have going on because I don't accept myself. I am still under judging myself, right? I don't like who I am when this condition shows up, right? Or when I'm in crisis or whatever. And so sometimes, and when those are the cases, this is when, reach out to Couples Academy.
Yes.
Let's start doing some one-on-one work because we definitely can do the work to build you up so that you are in a healthy place to actually be in a relationship. So sometimes it's like, no, don't attach yourself to someone when you yourself are not even being healthy in the relationship. One of the most important relationships you will have is with yourself.
Absolutely. Miss Stephanie says, bring light to darkness. Yes. And then Miss Crystal says, triggers put me into the darkest depression I've ever experienced. Through intense counseling and getting the right tools, I've been able to control them a little better. Those triggers ain't no punk. I had to work with my husband. I'm going to say that again. I had to work with my husband so that we can create a safe space for each other to be able to share. And that is what it is all about, is partnering again with your partner, with your spouse, with your mate, the individual that you're in a relationship with, because they should be your biggest supporter and your biggest advocate. Absolutely. If you are not with someone that is supporting you in your individual challenges and struggles, maybe that person has not been assigned to you. But it is very important to make sure that you're doing your due diligence in that. Hey everyone, man, this is, I think we're going to do a part 2.
We're going to do a part 2 because we got to go a little deeper.
What do y'all say? Should we do a part 2 on this? Should we do a part 2 on should relationships have secrets? We think so. What do you think? But I think we absolutely need to do a part 2 on this. So if all hearts and minds are clear, we are going to do a part 2. Should relationships have secrets? Again, we're going to come back and probably talk about the difference between privacy and secrecy. Yes. There is a difference. So we'll be back with more before I do next week. In the meantime, be sure to reach out to us at Couples Academy and book us for a session. As Charmaine mentioned, we specialize in both couples and individual counseling as well. And you are always in a relationship with yourself. And we want to partner with you to make sure that you are the healthiest and best version of yourself so you can show up for you.
That's right. All right. So ladies, I'm ready. But let's book the session. Let's make it work. And let's speak those things into existence. We don't want you looking at prices, this and that, and saying, no, speak into existence what you want to accomplish, and let's help you accomplish your goals. Man, Walter, he's ready.
Yep.
You're expecting the phone to ring. And definitely if you just got engaged, you're thinking about it, not even sure, let's go. Let's get the pre-marriage education that you need and book us for some premarital counseling.
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in to Before I Do. Be sure to check us out same time next week. Everyone have a great week. We'll see y'all soon. Good night, everybody.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.